Were they?
but they did not.
Now, you came down from Pennsylvania, right?
Now.
Okay. I heard you were from Pennsylvania. How did you get down here?
I can't hear you.
Sorry. I heard that you were from Pennsylvania.
Yes.
How did you get from Pennsylvania?
I came to Maryville College.
Maryville College?
I was going to Penn State, but they didn't take, couldn't work my freshman year. So my Latin teacher in Bangor, Pennsylvania said, I know just a place for you to go, Maryville College, down the Smoky Mountains. So me and my friend, we came to Maryville College. So we graduated from there.
What was your degree? What was your degree, like in college?
What was my major?
Yeah.
Home economics.
Home ec? Were you a school teacher?
I can't hear you.
Were you a school teacher in home ec?
Yes,
Like, how long did you teach?
32 years.
32? Wow. When did you retire?
What?
When did you retire?
I retired in 72.
72? Okay. Like, how long did you, like, have to go to college to be able to teach?
4 years. I got
4
a
years?
BS degree.
Okay. Did you only teach home ec?
No, after I got married, they didn't have, I was hired by the mission board, Methodist Mission Board, and they didn't hire married teachers. So then I taught first grade here at Pittman.
Was it fun?
Oh, I didn't know first thing about first grade. We went for a walk, and we come back and told a story. I saw a fish, and, that sort of thing. We made our stories to write.
Okay.
I didn't know straight up about that.
Okay.
But we got by.
Like, where was your husband from?
He was here, native
From here? How long has he been living here?
He lived here all his life.
All his life? Okay. How long have you been living here?
Beg pardon?
How long have you been living here?
Since 37.
Since 37. Do you have any kids?
I have one son, and he's married. I have one grandson,
So-
and he's a lawyer.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Hold on. Did you ever get tired of teaching, like with the kids or anything?
Oh, I don't know whether I got tired or not, but sometimes I got discouraged a little bit.
What made you want to be a teacher?
I didn't hear you.
What made you want to be a teacher?
Well, my mother and father both were teachers. I guess it was born in me.
Okay. What were like the styles in school? What were like the styles of clothes in school?
So I don't understand you.
What were the styles like of clothes while you were in school?
Size of my classes?
The style of clothes?
Oh, goodness, I don't know. About the same.
Oh, okay.
We didn't wear pants so much then as we do now.
When did you start teaching at Pittman?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
When did you start teaching at Pittman?
37.
37? Okay.
65 years ago.
Was the teaching atmosphere at Pittman like comfortable?
Well, we didn't have the facilities that they have now. I taught chemistry and biology in a classroom. We didn't have lab, And so the facilities weren't like they are today.
Okay. Was it like hard to teach without all of them? Was it like that when you were a kid?
How to teach, beg pardon?
Was it like that when you were a kid without like all this stuff? Like
I don't know what you mean.
I don't know how to.
What?
Like, did you have less of the teaching?
Did I have what?
Did you have less of the teaching stuff when you were in school? Like, did the teachers have less?
Do I have less than that?
Like, when you were in school, did the teachers have less of the...
They didn't have the equipment they have now.
Yeah.
They didn't have near the equipment they have now. Teaching's easier today than it was back then.
Did you enjoy teaching?
Oh, yes. I enjoyed the kids.
Why did you retire?
Why did I retire?
Yeah, did you just like get tired of it or something?
Well, my mother was living with me, and she was sort of ill, and I felt, and my husband wasn't too well, so I just had my 32 years in so I could retire.
So you just went home to take care of him? Did you just go home and take care of him?
No, we had to put my mother in a nursing home. She had arthritis so bad, and so I wasn't, and I had hip surgery. I have arthritis, and so we put her in a nursing home because I wasn't able to take care of her.
Did you have like a favorite teacher when you
In
were
high school?
Yeah.
I think Miss Porter, my Latin teacher in high school, was sort of the one that egged me on to Maryville College, and one I stayed with. And after I graduated from Maryville College, she was still my friend, and we'd go see her. She lived in New Jersey. So when I went home to Pennsylvania, I'd go over and see her.
Was there a teacher that you didn't really like? Was there a teacher you didn't really like in high school?
I still am sorry.
Was there a teacher that you didn't really like in high school?
In high school, Miss Porter, my Latin teacher, and I think my algebra teacher, Mr. Keats. He liked the country kids. I was born on a farm in Pennsylvania, and he liked the kids from the country. He said we knew more math than the city kids did.
Did you have any pets when you were growing up?
Did I have any what?
Any pets?
Pets?
Yeah.
We had a dog.
Dog?
Interrupt a second. Let him to speak up for you, okay?
Okay.
What grade are you in?
I'm in 8th grade.
8th grade?
Yes.
I saw that Pittman Center bathing club. That's on.
It's our new shirts this year.
Really? Going to
Make sure you
GP?
speak one word at a time, very plainly and talk loud.
Will you go to GP?
Next year.
That's where I go taught.
Did you go to GP?
That's where I taught.
Cool. Okay. Why didn't you go back to Pennsylvania when you got done at Maryville College?
Why did I go back to Pennsylvania?
Why didn't you? Why'd you come to Pittman instead?
I found out in Pennsylvania I had to take some more geography courses before I could teach in Pennsylvania. And then I got a letter saying they need a home ec teacher at Pittman Center. So my mother said, well, let's just go down. So we came down to Pittman Center. We drove down, and Dr. Burnett was superintendent then, and he hired me, I reckon.
Did you stay in the girls' dormitories?
We stayed in a teacher's cottage, and it was called the nunnery because all the women teachers were single, and it was called the nunnery.
Okay.
So we lived there, about 5 of us. And we had a cook, a girl who did the cooking for us and cleaning and stuff like that.
Okay. Was there like a certain teacher in high school that made a big impact on your life to be a teacher?
A certain teacher in high school?
Yeah, that like made a big impact on your life?
I don't know what you mean.
Like, I'll explain it.
Ask her about the being married part. You know, she said they all were single.
I'm sorry, I have this hearing problem.
It's
but
okay.
Yeah, but
What now?
She had to switch jobs.
Why did you have to switch jobs because you got married? Was it like the law that you couldn't?
because the Methodist Board of Home Missions didn't have married teachers teaching then. When you got married, you couldn't teach in the mission board.
Were there
That
any,
was the law then.
Were there any male teachers?
Man teachers here?
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Whaley taught, and Mr. Latham. We had several man teachers.
Were there like any big?
And they lived in the boys' dormitory.
Oh, okay. Were there any like big disasters that happened here, like a fire or anything that you remember?
Well, we had a flood in 1939 when had a cloudburst up at Webb Mountain, and the water came down to Pittman and washed out some families. That was in 39. That's what Melvin Carr said. I couldn't remember 39. We had that, and Pittman Center was isolated. Of course, then it wasn't a city like it is now, and we were isolated. And my mother had heard about it, and she got kind of worried because we didn't have any telephones here then, and we didn't have lights for a while here either. We had our own electric system down at, well, our own, what do you want to call it, where they made their own electricity. It was homemade.
Okay, what was your favorite subject in school? Like,
You mean what I liked in high school?
yeah.
What I liked? Well, I don't know, I liked all my subjects pretty well. I liked math pretty well. I went to a country school in Pennsylvania, grades 1 to 8 in the same room. We had one teacher's school, and 1 to 8, first and second, 8th grade was in the same room. And just maybe 20 of us there, and maybe 2 or 3 in the 8th grade and 1 or 2 in the 7th grade and so on.
Do you have like a favorite subject that you like to teach or that you would have taught?
When I taught home ec, I liked to teach sewing. That was my favorite subject.
Would you have taught any other classes?
Not in high school. At Pittman, I had to teach French and chemistry and biology, because that was on my certificate that I could teach those subjects. And I didn't know very much about chemistry, because it's my weak subject in college. I didn't know very much about chemistry. So some of my students said they had to study as hard as I did to keep up, because they knew I didn't know very much about it.
Like when you were teaching chemistry, did like any of the kids like mix the wrong chemicals or something? Like,
well, in college we had all those lab tests to do, and then here at Pittman we didn't have any lab, and everything had to be done by book. In biology class we went for hikes and studied leaves and flowers and things of that sort, but in chemistry it was sort of hard to teach without a lab.
Was biology fun, like going on the hikes and stuff?
We went on hikes and studied leaves and flowers.
Okay. Like, was there a certain grade that you taught or that you wanted to teach?
A certain grade?
Yeah.
Well, in high school was what I was prepared to teach. But then I had to teach 7th and 8th grade too, here also, 7th and 8th grade.
Was there like a class that you wanted to teach that you didn't get to? Or like,
A little bit louder, please.
was there a class that you wanted to teach but you didn't get to?
No, I don't think so.
I've asked all my questions.
Am I a hard one to interview?
No, just ask all my questions. I don't know. Was there like a certain chore that you hated to do? Like,
No, I didn't get all that.
was there like a certain chore when you were younger that you hated to do?
Certain chore
Yeah,
to do where?
around the house.
Around the house?
Yeah.
You mean after I was married?
No, when you were a little kid.
Well, we had to take care of our own rooms, of course, and as I said, we had a girl who cooked for us, and we did our own cleaning. And that's about all.
You mentioned earlier when the flood happened that one of the about that how that you ended up having that there.
One of the bodies was found down on the creek, and they brought him to our living room so the animals wouldn't get him. It's just a safe place to put him until they get the body.
Was it scary when you found it in your living room?
Oh yeah, it's sort of scary because they got us out of the dorm, they got us out of the room and told us to get out. We got out, and I can't remember where we went, but anyway, we left our room, and I just can't remember where. I guess we just stood around. I don't know. I can't remember that part, but I remember we had the man's body in the living room. I guess that stayed with me the most.
Did they ever find out who it was?
No, I guess I don't remember his name, but he lived in Webb's Mountain.
Oh, okay.
And he was washed down here, washed in the creek. And that's why they brought him to our house, because there was no place to put him for his relatives to come get him.
Did you know, like, his relatives? Did you know
No,
him?
I didn't know him.
Okay.
I was just fairly new here then. That was in 39, and I came in 37. So I didn't know many people up in Webb's Creek.
Okay.
When you, or you might want to ask her what she thought about Pittman Center when she first came here. What was it like, and how's it different today?
When you first came here, what was Pittman like?
Well, when I first came here in 37, we don't have roads like we had now. And it was very ruddy and dusty, and Dr. Burnett said when he hired me, now look at here, young lady, you won't get out of here in the wintertime because the roads will be so bad and snow and ruddy. So that didn't bother me because I lived on a farm in Pennsylvania and I was used to, didn't get about. So it didn't bother me, but it was really quite and then we had, the kids stayed in the dormitory. We had dormitory, some of the buses couldn't pick them all up, so they stayed in the dormitory. And then I got befriended with one of the girls, and I went home with her for weekends up in Wares Valley. And I was her third daughter. That was their third daughter. They adopted me, so to speak. And she's still my friend today. She's a retired school teacher, and we're still friends.
How is Pittman different from Pennsylvania, where you used to live?
How did?
Is it different?
Well, I can't say that. See, I went to one teacher school in Pennsylvania, and here they had grade schools, which we didn't have. Well, we didn't. Everybody was in one grade in Pennsylvania, one school, and here they had each room was one grade, two grade. You know, first grade, second grade, and third grade. In their own separate rooms, maybe 5 and 6 was in one room, or 7th and 8th in one room. I know the 7th and 8th grade was in one room over here at Pittman.
How is Pittman different now than it was like when you were teaching?
Oh, well, they have a lot more equipment. They have computers, which we didn't have then, of course, and I have more teaching facilities than we had. Ours was very primitive, you know. We just had to do word of mouth and not much equipment to work with. It's altogether different. And you're in 8th grade over here?
Getting ready to graduate May 30th.
May 30th, good.
Ask her if she liked the.
What are you going to major in?
I don't know. I thought about teaching, but
Teaching's good. I recommend it. We need teachers. We need teachers. The teachers are, I read that so much, need teachers. My son was a teacher. He was principal of Seymour High School. And, but now he's retired from teaching school. He's assistant administrator here at Pittman now. So.
What's his name?
Larry.
Larry?
Larry Huskey.
What did you ask her if she liked the community when she first got here?
Did you like the community when you first moved here?
Did I like what?
The community when you first moved here?
When I first moved here, what?
Did you like the community?
Oh yeah, because I like country. I grew up in the country in Pennsylvania. It didn't bother me. I wasn't used to city living. So, you know. And I would go home with the bus with the kids, and we spend the night, go home. After when I was single, I'd go home with the kids, and we spend the night and have chicken for breakfast. Fried chicken. That was sort of unusual for me. We didn't do that in Pennsylvania. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, every minute of it.
Do you think the people are the same as they were?
Yeah, I think so. They were all farmers around here. Of course, I grew up in a dairy farm, and I had to milk cows in Pennsylvania. And here, I mean, they had a man that took care of milked the cows and stuff here, took care of the pigs and stuff.
Do you think the laws were different here for teaching than they were in Pennsylvania?
Well, I just don't know what the laws are in Pennsylvania. I think you have to have a degree before you can teach, just like they do here. Certain things you can teach and certain things you can't teach.
Do you remember anybody saying anything to you that had like a big impact on your life? Like,
I've lost you on that now. I'm sorry.
do you remember someone saying anything to you that had a big impact on your life?
An impact on my life?
Yeah.
Well, I think that my Latin teacher in high school, I don't know what, but she made an impression on me. I mean, she's the one that got me to Maryville College, and she was my friend for all these years until she passed away.
Ask her what was college life like for women.
What was college life like for women?
What was college like
Yeah.
over at Maryville?
Yeah.
Very strict. We couldn't go out at night. We had to be in our rooms by 10 o'clock and the lights out by 11. It was very strict. They had night watchmen. If he saw lights on somebody's room, he'd go tell our mother, the lady who took care of the dormitory, tell her, and she'd come down and check your lights. We couldn't cook in our rooms. We couldn't do anything like that. Now Maryville College is altogether different. I think the boys are first floor and the girls on the second floor and things, it's altogether different. But then it was very strict. We had a night watchman, and he made sure that nobody was out after 6 o'clock at night or something of that sort. So, but you see, that didn't bother me because I was never used to that. I mean, I never did that. It never bothered me.
What happened if you got caught out past 6? Like, what happened if you got caught out past 6?
Now, I don't know what you mean.
Like, if the watchman caught you, what happened?
He took you to your mother, took you to the house mother, and she would punish you. I don't know. I never did that, so I don't know what the punishments were. I know one time we had a toaster, my roommate and I, and we were making toasted cheese sandwiches, and she smelled it, and she took our toaster away from us. So I remember that. That's about the only thing that we did.
Do you wish that you ever moved somewhere else?
Wouldn't I? What?
Do you wish that you would have ever like went somewhere else and not have come here?
I don't think so. I don't. Is that
Elizabeth Bush.
Bush? And where do you live?
I used to live in Indiana. I used to live in Indiana.
Oh, you live in Indiana.
I live out in Cosby now.
Out in Cosby now,
Yeah.
and you come here to school. Well, you're an implant too, aren't you?
I was born in New York.
New York.
Yeah.
Gosh, you've been around too.
Yeah, just sit. Oh, you got
Just sit.
Yeah, you just sit
You want me to just...
and just look at the camera.
Let me see, like, hello. My name is... Yeah. Hello, my name is Elizabeth Bush, and I'm sitting here with Cora Huskey, a long-time resident and a retired school teacher living in Pittman Center. I am doing an oral history report on Pittman Center heritage called Passing on the Pride, and today is April 19th, 2002.
Good. And so you're going to GP.
Yep.
And you'll be a teacher now.
Okay.
What would you like to teach?
Probably some little kids.
Science or?
I don't know.
They don't have home ec up at Pittman at GP anymore. They don't teach home ec anymore.
They don't?
They have child care.
Family living, I think. I think they call it family living.